So this is your offer. $3 million. You put three, I put three. Winner takes all.
As a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready as the war of words between Andrew Tate and Jake Paul is once more raging. That's right, the former kickboxing champion and the divisive YouTuber turned boxer are back in the public eye, and Tate has released a fresh barrage.
If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living fuck out of a fucking goofy, fucking entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate. Fucking Google.
Verbal punches squarely at Jake Paul. Hence, grab some popcorn as this story is far from over. Now, unless you have been living under a rock, you already know that Andrew Tate and Jake Paul have been throwing jabs, both verbal and digital, for some considerable time. It's like seeing two heavyweight champions size each other. Only instead of punches it's Instagram photos, podcasts, and scathing tweets. To be honest, these two are hardly strangers in terms of stirring the pot and generating conversation. Alright, let us momentarily reverse to provide some background. Andrew Tate, a four-time world kickboxing champion and self-proclaimed top G, has established a big internet following by dishing out unorthodox thoughts on masculinity, success, and life in general. Whether you love him or despise him, you cannot deny that the man is adept in commanding attention. And on the other side, we've got Jake Paul, a YouTube phenomenon turned boxing disruptor who's built a career out of proving his skeptics wrong, with a run of high-profile battles and knockouts under his belt. Jake has transitioned from a social media celebrity into a bona fide name in the boxing world. So what caused this current round of drama? Well, it all began when Jake Paul, never one to shy away from calling people out, took some shots at Tate in an interview, challenging his authenticity and describing him as all talk, no action. Jake said essentially, if Andrew Tate is such a big deal, why hasn't he entered the ring? And you now know. Tate wasn't going to let it slip. Andrew Tate blasted back in true Tate fashion, direct, unrepentant, and full with confidence. In a recent interview, Tate didn't simply defend himself, he went on the attack, labeling Jake Paul a sideshow and stating that Jake's whole boxing career is nothing more than a well-choreographed clout-chasing machine. According to Tate, Jake's battles are carefully picked to make him appear like a star while avoiding any real risk. But here's where it gets juicy. Tate didn't simply stop at disparaging Jake's career, he went further. He accused Jake of being a puppet of the entertainment business, alleging that everything Jake does is driven by his need to stay relevant in the ever-competitive world of social media. Jake Paul doesn't fight because he loves boxing, Tate stated. He fights because he loves being talked about. Ouch, that's a knockout blow in the court of public opinion right there. And you might be wondering, how did Jake respond to all this? Well, true to tradition, Jake didn't hold back. In a violent Instagram story, Jake hit back at Tate, calling him all bark and no bite and pressing down on his dare to fight. Jake added, if Andrew Tate is so tough, let's see him step into the ring. Put your money where your mouth is, top G. But Tate, oh man, Tate had another ace in his sleeve. In a follow-up interview, Tate exposed what he termed the fake bravado of Jake's boxing character. He produced receipts, two pointing to occasions where Jake reportedly backed out of battling genuine opponents in favor of taking on safer choices. Tate also alluded at having intimate knowledge of Jake's camp, adding that the Paul team is more concerned about selling pay-per-views than taking real risks. Now, here's the kicker: Andrew Tate didn't just stop at Jake Paul. He took aim at the entire YouTube boxing movement, calling it a fad that disrespects the sport of boxing. According to Tate, the rise of influencers in boxing is diluting the craft and making it into a spectacle rather than a fight. Real fighters dedicate their lives to this sport. Tate remarked, what Jake and his crew are doing is an insult to every champion who's ever stepped into the ring. But let's not get things misconstrued. Tate didn't just insult Jake, he also put down the gauntlet. Tate proclaimed that he's more than eager to fight Jake Paul, but under one condition: the fight must be a true combat, not some choreographed performance meant for social media traffic. If Jake Paul wants to fight me, it'll be on my terms, Tate stated. No fake drama, no staged nonsense, just two men in a ring, establishing who's the better fighter. And this is where the tale deepens, guys, because now the ball is back in Jake's court. Will he accept Tate's challenge and agree to a no-frills, mano-a-mano fight? Or will he continue to his current policy of battling influencers and retired athletes? One thing's for sure, the world is watching, and the stakes have never been greater. But let's pause for a moment and ask the question on everyone's mind: is this feud genuine? Or is it all just a masterclass in hype building? Both Andrew Tate and Jake Paul are marketing gurus in their own right, and they know how to keep people talking. Whether it's a premeditated ploy to generate anticipation for a future battle or a real rivalry, one thing's certain: they're both winning the internet right now. Now, as if this story couldn't be much more intriguing, murmurs are swirling about potential backdoor conversations between the two sides. Some insiders suggest that both Tate and Paul's teams have been discussing conditions for a future fight. These speculations have sent fans into a frenzy, speculating about everything from fight venues to potential pay-per-view statistics. If these conversations turn out to be accurate, we may be on the cusp of seeing one of the largest crossover events in combat sports history, adding additional gasoline to the fire. More famous figures in the combat game are starting to chime in. Former UFC champion Conor McGregor, known for his own penchant for trash talk, joined in on the dispute, stating that a Tate-Paul battle would break the internet. Meanwhile, famous boxer Mike Tyson has apparently been asked to provide his view on the possible battle, with supporters thinking he would even join in as a pundit or advisor. Social media is, of course, blazing with opinions. Hashtags like hashtag Tate vs Paul and hashtag TopG are trending across platforms, with supporters sketching battle lines in support of their favorite fighter. TikTok and YouTube are swamped with fan-made advertising films, arguments, and even fake battle simulations. The internet domain has effectively become a fight, and every post, like, and remark adds another layer to this ever-evolving drama. But here's the million-dollar question: what would a fight between Andrew Tate and Jake Paul truly look like? Analysts are already guessing about how their styles will conflict. Tate's history in kickboxing gives him an edge in striking and fitness, but Jake's recent boxing experience means he's no stranger to going the distance in the ring. Both guys are confident, athletic, and, let's face it, stubborn, a prescription for a very combustible battle. And let's not overlook the business side of things. Both Tate and Paul are well aware of the financial behemoth a bout like this might become. From corporate deals to pay-per-view money, this could easily be a multi-million-dollar event. Some analysts are even suggesting it might surpass the revenues of major professional fights, considering the global fan bases both men have. So, where does this leave us? For now, we're locked in the waiting game, watching the drama develop in real time. But one thing is clear: whether they meet in the ring or keep their rivalry contained to social media, Andrew Tate and Jake Paul are redefining what it means to be a modern fighter. They're not just athletes, they're entertainers, provocateurs, and, above all, skilled marketers. So what do you think? Is this conflict destined to become a legendary fight? Or is it simply another chapter in the infinite world of internet drama? Whatever the situation, you can bet we'll be here to break it all down. Stay tight, guys, for this narrative is only getting begun.